Previously, in my quest to connect all 4 capital cities of the UK and bikepack my way to each one, I had completed the journey from Edinburgh to London. But today I'm setting off on the second leg of this adventure, London to Cardiff. Ahead of me lies just over 200 miles, starting today from Westminster Bridge. My first mission was to navigate England's capital city, taking in a few of the iconic sights along the way, of course. But really my goal was simple, to escape into the countryside as soon as possible. Slowly but surely getting out of London, and I cannot wait for the peaceful quiet to begin. As I made my way further from the city centre, I slowly started to feel like I was getting closer to some resemblance of the countryside, along the canal towpaths, with more and more green spaces appearing. And autumn being my favourite time to be on the bike, with the leaves starting to change colour and falling off the trees. It's a great time to ride. Trees might have been full of colour, however, the sky was a dreary grey today. Seeing the M25 pass overhead meant one thing. I was nearly out of London, or at least past the busiest parts in my mind. I had started winding my way into the woodland surrounding the M25, where it's always a relief to hit the forest trails. The trees muffle the sound of the traffic, creating a quiet escape. But with all the rain England's had over the past couple of weeks, the trails were definitely on the wet side in places, which made things a little bit interesting. When I left my wooded shelter this morning and started my second day on the trails, the sunrise behind me really stopped me in my tracks. I've had the chance to experience incredible sunrises before, all over the country, but this morning, this sunrise just stopped me. The morning mist rolling in between the trees. We might be saying goodbye to the summer, but as winter gets closer, the sunrises become even more breathtaking. And still in the flatter section of the country, I would have an incredible morning pedalling my way through the thousands of trees on my way to Swinley Forest, where I would enjoy some nice easy flowy single track mountain bike trails. Just what I needed on this perfect morning. Sometimes you have to let your inner child out to play, and this morning I did just that. With pizza for breakfast, I practiced my Superman on a zip line I found before getting back on the trails. The sun was still beaming behind me and the trails were a great fun, if not a little slippery. The puddles felt more like little lakes, but it was a blast to be out riding under this sun. Spotting the first sign to Wales was the perfect reminder that I was heading in the right direction and getting ever closer to a country with some very hard to pronounce names. But then again, you are reading this right. I would eventually arrive in Reading. Reaching the Ridgeway meant it was time to hit the highlight of this route. This ancient pathway, often called Britain's oldest road, has been used for thousands of years. It's pretty amazing to think that I'm following in the footsteps of the Neolithic people, Romans, and countless others who have traversed this landscape. It's always something that gets me thinking when on these ancient trails. What were these ancient travellers thinking? Maybe they were thinking just like me, about all the people before them and all the people after them. Packing up my tent, it looked like I was going to have a clear day ahead, but once I left the tree cover, I was thrown into an eerie morning with low clouds drifting above. The first thing I stumbled across was Wayland's Smithy Barrow, an impressive long barrow steeped in history. Dating back to the Neolithic period, this burial mound is about 5,000 years old and is believed to have been a place of reverence for ancient communities. The legend surrounding it suggests that Wayland, the Saxon god of metalworking, would forge weapons for the brave who dared to leave him offerings at the barrow. Continuing through the foggy morning, I found myself climbing higher and higher, and occasionally I would break through the mist to catch a glimpse of the sun. It felt like I hadn't stopped climbing since getting onto this ridgeway. Would continue to ascend until reaching Barbary Castle, a stunning Iron Age hill fort. From ground level, it's hard to picture what it looks like, but from above, it's truly something else. After a quick stop at Avebury, I would start my last couple of climbs onto the Wessex Ridgeway, a place filled with some stinging climbs and incredibly beautiful views over the Wiltshire countryside. Wiltshire has some of the best bikepacking trails around, just if you didn't know. After a bit of climbing and ascending, I finally found myself back on some flat terrain at the Kennet and Avon Canal. I say flat, but the Cane Hill locks are quite the challenge for anyone on a canal boat at least. With a rise of over 29 feet across 16 locks, I think I'll stick to cycling. I would head onto the famous Bristol and Bath Railway, a 15-mile, 24-kilometre off-road cycle route that was once part of the Great Western Railway, connecting Bath and Bristol in the 19th century. The old railway infrastructure is still visible today, making for some easy riding, just what I needed, if I was ever going to make it to the Welsh border and cross that bridge. However, with my late start and the sun setting so early, I seriously underestimated just how far I needed to ride today. I was never going to make it before dark. So I had to find somewhere to set up camp just on the outskirts of Bristol. Luckily, I found a great little woodlands where I was treated to an incredible sunset overlooking the city.
It feels so good to just be able to see the top of the bridge. I'm so close to Wales now. It felt like a long old slog to get here this time, but we're so close. About 40 miles to go though. Gonna be arriving in Wales by the looks of it, with this glorious sunshine. What the hell? That's not normal. I'll take it though.
With just under 40 miles to go and the bridge to Wales in sight, I was definitely in the mood to pedal fast and make it to Cardiff, the capital of Wales, before it got dark tonight. Luckily for me, the remainder of my ride would be swift as I cruised along the flatlands by the Severn Estuary. There wasn't many challenges to get myself to the capital as the wind was pushing me along. But the easy final miles meant I could enjoy the end to an awesome little adventure from one capital to another, leaving me with just the rugged Welsh landscape to conquer next, if I'm ever going to make it to Belfast, that is.